What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth. I am Mel, and joining me as always is Ronnie, Big Smooth Hennigan. Smooth, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot, Mel. It was good. Glad to get a couple of days away from work. My goodness, man. What about you?
I'm good, man. Went to the shooting range today, popped a couple shots off. Very relaxing, very relaxing. But
Awesome.
just a nice little day. Just a nice little day. Um, we were also supposed to have Achilles Smith on with us, but so far we have not been able to get in touch with him as of right now. But we are still going to move on, and we're going to keep pushing forward. So, with that being said, let's get this started. Our show is once again being brought to you in part by Boxman. Strength through resistance. Resistance is key. You're a fighter. You just want to get in shape. Boxman is where it is. And our other sponsor, Uncle Rico's Quarter Mile Challenge. If you're looking for a way to get your quarterback in gear and get your arm strength popping, check out Uncle Rico's Quarter Mile Challenge. You can throw over the mountains. All right.
Sorry, man.
Oh man, of course, of course. You got to, man. You got to. It's not funny if it's not funny if you don't throw that in there. But moving on, we are in the middle of the NFL draft, and let me tell you guys right now, downtown Cleveland is bonkers. The stage has been set up. The Kings of Leon were there performing last night. A lot of celebrities, Joe Thomas, Bernie Kosar. What was your surprise move of the draft last night? First round. What was your surprise move?
My surprise move was the Bears. Okay. The Bears, because the thing is, like, and I saw people, going back and forth, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he dropped this far and this and that. And I'm like, he's a great quarterback. I do feel like he's top five. I didn't feel like he was top three. But at the same time, like the Bears jumping up to get him, I for sure thought he was going to drop to New England at 15. That's what I was looking at. I said, this man about to go to New England. Okay. And then here they come trading up out of nowhere. No one had any reports of that. It was just like, we want Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Huh? Okay.
yeah.
So
That-
I hope they do right by him. I think that's a great pickup, though, for their system and what they're trying to do. I don't know if they have the pieces around him yet, but I'm hoping they figure that out. But that was my most surprising move I saw in the first round. What about
I,
you, man?
I'm gonna I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree because I did Johnny Cleveland's show Wednesday. Shout out to Johnny
Hmm.
Suchan over with Cleveland Sports Talk. And we had a mock draft. Now, this is the mock draft. All of the highlighted names are my picks. Out of all of my picks in the first round,
Hmm.
only one of them was right. Kyle Pitts went to Atlanta. Everybody else
Wow.
went complete opposite of where I thought they were going to go. I thought Trey Lance would end up in Washington. He ends up with San Francisco. Uh, I thought I'm not gonna say I thought. I wanted I wanted ETN to come to Pittsburgh because I felt like
Yes.
ETN fit. I felt like ETN fit that system,
Hmm.
and because I
Hmm.
felt like he fit that system. Versatile back, can run up the middle, can run on the outside, catch out of the backfield. You can even line him up as a receiver. I felt like that was everything Big needed in a complete back, and Pittsburgh would finally have that after
Exactly.
3 or 4 years of James Conner. Nothing against Connor, love his story, but wasn't an every down back. ETN proved he was an every down back.
Hmm.
Even with some people saying he was in the shadow of Trevor Lawrence, I don't believe that. I just felt like this was a need for the Steelers that could have been accomplished, and and
If I'm not
well
mistaken,
played.
he was the all-time leader, right, in ACC, like
I
all-purpose,
believe
or
so. Yeah, I
yeah, he
believe
was
so.
killing it. Yeah.
But I have to commend former Ohio State coach Urban Meyer for his daily double, because when was the last time
Man,
you saw a college quarterback get reunited immediately with his college running back and they were on the same team at the same time?
right? Like recently, because
Yeah,
the thing is, and this is what I was talking about yesterday too, how I thought it was nasty to see Jamar Chase go back with Joe Burrow. I'm like, that's cool. Now they've had a year separated. It's a little bit different.
yeah,
You got a QB who's getting used to NFL speed, and you've got a wide receiver who hasn't had that experience yet. That's going to be a little different for them to link up. I'm hoping they do get on the same page. That's going to be real cool for them. But to see Lawrence and Etienne same year, you're on the same college team. Now you're on the same NFL team. They can adjust
that
together. That is a very
that
smart move.
was
And look,
very
I
smart.
thought I thought Pittsburgh was going to not only get Etienne just to have him because of how good he is, but just to keep that from happening. Just to keep it
Yeah,
from happening. Like, be petty for a moment.
yeah,
Just do it to keep it from happening. And now all of a
yeah.
sudden you got these
Man,
two reunited. Like, that is just not fair. I'm like, okay. And seeing,
it's actually on the draft board that we had that everybody made a pick on because everybody had a
hmm
number. Everybody had numbered order. So I had 4, 7, 9, 14, 19, 24, 29, and 32. So
okay,
at 24 and 25, it's reversed. Uh, I had NTN going to Pittsburgh. Johnny Cleveland had Najee Harris going to Jacksonville, and it ends up reversing with Harris going to
wow,
Pittsburgh and NTN going to Jacksonville. So
that's cool.
the whole board was screwed up, but when you look at it, that was the best move Jacksonville made in a long time in the draft. You got your college quarterback
hmm
that you wanted. You got the college running back to fit your quarterback, so they know each other. They're going into this knowing each other. So if there's an adjustment that needs to be made, it's gonna be made. Well
Yeah.
played, Urban Meyer. Well played. Touche, motherfucker. Touche.
And you know how he likes to run his quarterbacks, man. So
Yeah,
having a
I
guy
don't
like
think that'll
Lawrence
be.
that's versatile.
Yeah, but I don't think that'll be a problem with this uh whatever offense he's running, because I forget who's the offensive coordinator down in Jacksonville, but whatever offense he's running,
hmm
it's not going to be predictable.
True.
Because if you look at the schemes that Urban has ran throughout college, there's usually a RPO type of system in place, but it's never a true RPO because for the last 5 years that Urban Meyer was there, he's had passers, with the exception of Braxton Miller. Braxton Miller was more of a dual threat than
Right.
Barrett Jones, uh, Haskins, and Fields. So
hmm
out of 5 quarterbacks, he's had 4 that are true passers. So
True.
this may not be a true RPO per se. I think this more maybe more of a play action system, which fits into Etienne's ability and Lawrence's
hmm
ability perfectly.
And then to answer your
Uh,
question, so the coordinator is going to be Daryl Bevel. So he's a new
hmm.
offensive coordinator, and they're using Brian Schottenheimer as a passing game coordinator. So he'll be
Oh man,
working with
y'all
a
done
few
screwed up.
people.
Y'all done
Yeah, that's
screwed
a
up.
nice little link up, man.
Y'all,
That's a real nice link up.
if
I was like,
nothing
oh,
else,
okay.
if nothing else, the if nothing else, the passing game is
hmm
probably going to run circles around most of the division outside of Miami. Well, actually, no, they're in the South, so they'll be seeing Houston and Houston. I believe it's Houston, Indianapolis, and
Yep. Houston, Indy, and
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yep.
So that's going to be a crazy defense that you would have to come up with to stop that,
It's a lot,
because
man.
because I guess Jacksonville would be considered having a no name offense because there wasn't a lot of big name people. But
True.
let's not forget, if the Khan family, who owns All Elite Wrestling and also owns the Jaguars,
Mm-hmm.
If they play this right, they can bring a lot of veterans in through free agency if they haven't already, because I haven't heard anything about them making a move.
True.
But if they play this right through free agency, they can bring a veteran presence or two in to help with the receiving core. And if not, just keep the passing game manageable for Lawrence because it's going to be a lot on him.
Mm-hmm.
You can't
It is.
you can't really dumb down a NFL playbook the way you would dumb down a college playbook. So I feel like this would be the chance to show because he's a number one pick. This would be the chance for you to show why you're the number one pick.
And Mel, think of it this way too. And it's something that I didn't say before, but Brian Schottenheimer being the pass game coordinator, look at the teams that he's worked with alone the last 10 years. He was the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks for the last three. So you saw what he could do with Russell Wilson. Prior
Yep.
to that, he spent a couple of years with Indianapolis. We saw what he did with Andrew Luck. It's just like, okay, he's done this. He's had some, really talented quarterbacks to work with, and this will be no different. And for you to be a
I
passing game coordinator, working alongside with the offensive coordinator, like I like this. I
yeah,
like this.
yeah.
I like this. I don't know what
And
the line looks like, but
their line wasn't that bad. Their line the problem with like with most teams in the NFC South outside of Indianapolis and Tennessee, that would only leave Houston and Jacksonville. The problem was along the defense. They don't have a real pass rush per se.
no, they
It
didn't.
was there at times,
Mhm.
but just the fact that they don't have a solid pass rush that was needed. You had I think you might have got one if I'm not mistaken. You might have got one against Tennessee. You got Houston, but
Mhm.
you know, 17 games now. You got to
Yep.
keep up with everybody, not just the guys in your division, because now that one more non-division game or non-conference game or whatever it is, because I haven't seen the schedule yet.
Mhm.
But and by the way, that's coming out in May 12th. So keep in mind that's happening. So what they're saying is essentially you got to step up.
True.
You have to
And with
step up.
and just for those that have, not really been in tune with what's happening, 17 game season, they removed one preseason game, so there's three of those. And then in addition, aren't they keeping the same format for the playoffs? Isn't that right?
Uh, I haven't heard anything about that change.
Me neither. 'Cause I like the way it's set up. The way it is
I love it.
now,
I
that
love
was
it.
awesome.
I
Because
love
that
it.
whole
Let
like
them
two
battle it
team
out.
bye week thing, like that was. This is
Yeah,
way better. This is way better. It gives that one more team an opportunity to get in. First of all, and then those teams that are like right there, kind of like the 11-5, 10-6 type of situation, or even
right
some of
on
these
the
nine and
border.
sevens, they finally get a chance to get in there. You know,
Yeah,
because that's crazy when you
yeah.
got an 11-5 team at home. And you got an 8-8 in there because they won a division. I get it, you won your division, okay, whatever.
somebody
But
had, dude.
you 11 and
Somebody
5,
had.
like man,
Well, somebody had to win the NFC East.
oh,
Somebody
that was
had to.
great. That was great.
Somebody
I'm
had
like,
to, bro.
because to my knowledge, was this the first time that we had a team that was under 500 that won a division,
First
or was it
time
the
in a
Seahawks?
long time. First time
Because
in a long time. Think about 15 years.
oh my gosh,
Because the Seahawks,
the
I would
Seahawks. That's
say
right.
no. The
They were
Seahawks in
7-9.
2005, they were 7-9 and made
They
it to
were.
the Super Bowl. Played the Steelers. How the fuck does that happen?
That was the hey, I don't even know when that would ever happen again. Oh my gosh,
Man,
they were
what?
great. They were great because you figure, yeah, because that was the year that they were 7-9. Cleveland was 10-6,
And missed the
and they
playoffs.
missed the playoffs. Yep. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. All right. I got you. Wow.
That's
They did go all the way. See, and that's why you can't be like, okay, I get it. This team got this lower record, whatever. You can't count nobody out, man. Any given Sunday.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
That's a prime example.
Now with that, the Browns, your team. Because my team took Najee Harris, as I said earlier. Your team takes Northwestern cornerback. That boy name is. Shoot,
Greg
what the
Newsom.
hell is his? Yeah, there it is. You're supposed to know this. You Cleveland. You a
Oh
Browns
no, I'm
fan.
sorry. I just saw the pop up saying that Cleveland's about to make their pick, and the pick
Oh,
is
they're
in.
on the clock.
Go ahead. Oh, go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead. I'll probably
Yeah,
trip in a minute.
your
I won't hit.
your team picks Greg Newsom, and
Mm-hmm.
what he's the second highest player in the draft outside of the lineman that they took, who actually became Northwestern's highest pick ever. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts on Greg Newsom coming to the Browns?
I love it actually. First of all, it's good to get more Big Ten guys on Cleveland's team. Cleveland, for some reason, just dodges it. I don't know what it is. Even whether it's an Ohio State guy or any of them guys, man, from the Big Ten, they just dodge them for some reason. I never understood that. And the thing is, when you got someone like that who's played in cold weather, hello,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Chicago.
type of coverage, did you see his stats this past year? How many yards
No,
he's
I didn't.
allowed? Oh, I'm gonna
I
send this
did
to you
not.
later, man. He had three games or 4 games where he didn't allow any yards
Mm,
at all against the pass, and the boy can
mm,
hit. So he has that type of like closing speed and coverage like Denzel Ward. I'm hoping
uh-huh.
he's more durable. I'm hoping he's more durable
I
because that's
believe
always
he
been a
is.
question.
I watched him. I did
Hmm.
watch him in the Big Ten championship against Ohio State.
They weren't
Now,
going his
mind
way.
you,
Mm-mm.
right? But mind you,
Boy, that cat.
uh, he he made it difficult.
Hmm.
But the thing about it was, I feel like this is the type of DB that they needed. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, we haven't seen Greedy Williams yet fully because he's been hurt, pinched nerves. And for those that are wondering and saying that he's faking it, let me tell you, pinched
His
nerves
nerve.
hurts.
They ain't no
It's
joke.
a nerve, people. It's a nerve. That
Hmm.
means if that motherfucker go wrong, it's going to hurt. You probably will lose feeling in a body part. So that's not a fake
Hmm.
injury. People have surgeries about nerves all the time. Uh, I I gotta think that, and I hope I'm wrong, but you
Okay.
gotta think that this might be Williams' replacement.
I felt the same way. I say, because go ahead and start that kid. Here's why I say that. Here's why I say that. I'm not gonna be like one of those people that's always like, oh, we got that high pick. Go ahead and throw him in there right away. It ain't like that for everybody. I get that. What I do mean with this though is he's proven he can lock folks down, lock
Yeah, he
them down
did.
hard. His press coverage is nasty. Okay. When you have two guys like that on the outside, and you're talking about a defense that has some gaps in the passing coverage last year, because the front seven was not an issue, right?
Right.
Secondary was banged up. First of all, they were banged up. Let's not get away from that either. But they gave up a lot of big plays. And this is one of those times where you can go, okay, we have two guys that have a dynamic that are very similar, right? Their style may be a little bit different, but in terms of closing speed and the ability to actually make those hits, that's there. This defense needs that, right? Then up top, we'll have to see what Delpit can do because we don't know. He was hurt last year, right? And then you
Yeah.
bring in the other safety from the Rams, which we also got one of their corners too. So don't
This
forget
shit
about
crazy.
that. They got a lot of depth now. And the Browns picked JOK. There it is. Ha ha ha.
Wow.
Yes. I'm
I'm
surprised he fell
surprised.
that low.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Like, I'm surprised. Like,
But
nobody
you got to
picked him
get him
up.
if you're
Now,
there.
yeah, but he's a need. Keep that in
He's a
mind. He
need.
is a need. He's a deep need.
A
He needs
deep
speed at
need.
linebacker.
Yes,
And
sir.
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Taki's a tackler. He's great in
Mm-hmm.
coverage. He's great in
Mm-hmm.
coverage, and he's a tackler, but he does not have the speed. His ability to make the tackle and his ability to be in the right spot at the right time makes up for the speed. JOK, is a speed linebacker. He can run down running backs. You saw that in the uh, Notre Dame Clemson game, the first game and
Yeah.
the second game. He was one of the few linebackers in the country to run down Travis Etienne. So uh, just know, people, that although you see me in a Pittsburgh Steelers shirt, I am very unbiased at watching this draft. I am very unbiased at looking at football, period. JOK is possibly the second best, I will say the second best linebacker outside of Parsons in the draft.
Facts. Facts.
And his play has shown it. He was one of the few linebackers. I'm going to repeat that because if you saw how fast Travis Etienne was, JOK was one of the few linebackers, not DBs, not safeties. He was one of the few linebackers in the country to run down and tackle Travis Etienne.
Mm-hmm.
That's big. That's big. Now, mind you, I don't know what the schedule is going to look like, but I do know you got to see Tyler Boyd in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see Juju in Pittsburgh. And you have to see whoever the fuck. Let's just say you're going to have to see Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Those are three dynamic players. Damn what they feel like inside their head or how they portray themselves in the media or in the public eye. On the field, those are dynamic players. If you have a linebacker that can slow down the process of their play, that's big. Especially with the game, especially with the game evolving the way it is. It's a passing game more now than ever. And if you got players that can catch up with Lamar Jackson or Juju or Tyler Boyd, that speaks volumes. And with Joe Woods' defense, with Joe Woods' defense, I got a bad feeling a lot of chaos is going to be going in soon.
Look, I'm glad you said that because now we're seeing where he has the people in his front seven where he can open up a little bit more of the blitz package. He was playing it safe before a little bit there because, like you said, Taki, right? He ain't made for that. That's not his thing. His coverage is awesome in terms of like zone. But when it comes to like
coverage is great.
That pass rush and getting that ain't him. It's not. Let's just call it what it is. Having a guy like this, it's only so many linebackers out there in the league that can do what these guys do. Guys like him, guys like Khalil Mack, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to see these cats on the other side of the ball. It's a blessing he fell this low.
Very big blessing.
Because I know for a fact, if they didn't get this guy, they for sure were looking at Barsom or someone like that who still need a D tackle. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, let's say they don't get one, right? They still have that option to bring back Richardson for cheaper. He's still a free agent. He has not been signed.
I'm surprised.
He has not been signed. I'm surprised too, but that boy wants to play. And if he comes back.
Wants to come back. He wants to come back. That's the crazy part.
Bruh, if he comes back, man, it all comes down to the safety play, man.
Yeah,
it comes down to safety play. That's really going to be the difference this year.
But already, just think about this though. Your secondary has just got upgraded from like 15th, 16th, 17th to like 8th, 9th, 7th. Dare I say, easy.
And there's depth now. There's good depth.
Yes,
because all depth ain't good. Good depth. That's where it's like. And you know what? I'm glad that I'm seeing these moves because all these teams in the AFC North are making these kind of moves, right? It'll be interesting to see what else Cincinnati does. But speaking of which, you know what? Let's bring it up real quick. What do you think about those two picks that the Ravens got yesterday?
Smart moves because they needed a line.
Minnesota. That boy from Minnesota.
A line.
We've been following that cat. Remember we talking about him?
Yeah.
The wide receiver from Minnesota?
But here's the thing, though. They didn't really have a problem at wide receiver. They didn't. The problem was the line.
That line was
You look at it. You look at that. That line was terrible. And then you give away your best lineman. And I heard this on 92.3. I'm not gonna say which show because I actually like these guys. I like listening to them,
Okay.
and they were saying that the
Oh, they
trade worked out for
traded.
both teams. Who got traded?
Oh. So the Panthers traded with the Browns for picks. So the Browns now have 3 4th-round picks and 1 3rd
Oh
round
my
pick.
God. God
So they about to load up.
damn.
They see somebody hanging around. I don't know who it is.
Man, what
But
the
speaking of which, I'm gonna tell you, and this is somebody that
I can't stand this shit, man.
and this is something that I just saw because my homeboy from Toledo hit me up with this one. He said because he said Barsom made him nervous. So he had asked me this question. He said, where is it at? He just sent that to me. Okay, never mind. He was talking about Elijah Moore. He got picked up already.
Oh
There was a
man, this
different
shit.
D tackle that he was looking at. He said, "What about this guy?" I'm trying to forget the dude's name. Oh yeah. It's a D tackle from I want to say Louisiana Tech. They said he might be a sleeper this year.
Man, I'm gonna be
Um,
honest with you. I have not paid attention to Louisiana Tech at all.
I haven't either, but if this guy is who they say he is, that could be the person that they're targeting in a later round because he'll still be there. People aren't really gunning for this cat. So now that you got 3 4th-round picks and 1 3rd-round pick, who's to say they wouldn't pick up this dude? I'm about to find his name
Well,
because when I saw this guy, I'm
I'll
like,
say
okay,
this. I'll say this. And uh going back to the talk for Baltimore, I don't think that this
Milton
is a bad
Williams.
move.
That's his
Oh,
name.
I did hear about him. Okay.
Milton Williams. Yeah, I
I
actually
will
like.
say this. I heard about the trade that Baltimore made, and
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I was hearing it on the show, and they said that the trade worked out for both teams. And in my head, I'm thinking, how? You just gave away your best lineman.
Yeah.
Not only that, who's going to protect Jackson? And now here's Baltimore in the draft picking up linemen. All right. I see where this is going. Nobody else does, but I see where this is going. Now, my question is who's going to keep up with who? Who's going to lead the pack at the end of this draft?
Yeah, that's gonna be
That's my
something for
that's
us to
my big
see.
question. Who's gonna be leading the pack after this is over with?
Yeah, I'm wondering too, man.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not even
wondering
talking
too.
about in the NFL. I'm talking about in the division. I just
On
want
a
to know in the
division,
division. No, I don't even care about the league. I don't care about the league. I care about the division right now
division.
because the division. Here's the thing. I've always preached
Oh,
this. I've always preached this in my years of playing
mm-hmm,
and watching football. You
mm-hmm.
have to take care of the division first. That's the
Yep.
most important part. If you get 3 games up in the division, it's hard for somebody to catch you. So if you get 3 draft picks up in the division right now, somebody is not going to catch you. But as we've seen, Pittsburgh's made a move, Baltimore made a move and a trade.
Mm-hmm,
Fucking Cincinnati made a move and picked up. Everybody picked up somebody, including the Browns. It's neck
mm-hmm.
and neck right now.
Yeah, it's looking real
So
crazy.
who's going to keep up and who's keeping up? It looks like Browns, Steelers, and Baltimore are all keeping up with each other. But at the end of this draft, by Sunday night, who's going to lead the pack? That's my
Mm.
question.
That's something to see right now, man, because it's looking pretty good across the board in terms of like draft picks right now. Speaking of which, your boys is up now.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm looking at that.
they already got
And
the dang pick. Dang, they knew who they
they
wanted.
ain't
They
waiting
got the
for no.
pick in already. Who
It's
you
the
think it
rookies,
is, man?
man.
Who you think it is, bro?
I'm hoping it's another
Okay.
receiver because they could use one.
Yeah, I saw that list that George put up, and I was like, yeah, you get another guy in there, man.
We need another linebacker too. So the fact that JOK's out with Cleveland. That sucks, but I can
Still
only
some
hang on that. I can only hang on that Najee Harris picks for so long. I
There's
just
still
being
some good
honest.
ones left though, man. What's that guy from who was I telling you about? The kid from Tulsa.
Did he go already? Did
I don't
somebody pick him
think
up?
so. I'm looking now and I don't think I see his name, to be honest,
Well,
which is crazy.
he
I
might
thought
still
he'd
be
be
on the
picked
board
up
then.
too. Yeah, I'm
Well,
about to look that up, man.
The Steelers might pick him up.
Huh.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on the draft for you guys, but in the meantime, we're going to jump to a little bit of NCAA news. Uh, Earlier today in the SWAC, uh, quarterback from Grambling State, Jeremy Hickbottom, hit the transfer portal to Bethune-Cookman. This sucks for Grambling because that was Grambling's best quarterback. He was the most accurate quarterback. What the fuck is going on with this transfer portal? Why are these kids just leaving after one COVID season? Why? Just why?
Here's what I don't get, man, because my thing is he was a red shirt senior. Why are you leaving right now? What is it about Bethune Cookman that made you want to go in your final year of eligibility? You're
Now,
like,
mind you,
okay, I'm gonna jump to Bethune Cookman real quick. This your last chance. What you? Why are you going there?
now well keep in mind though, before you jump down Bethune Cookman's throat, it's not their fault, and they actually used to be very very good. They
They did.
competed for national championships. They fell off a little bit, but once Florida A&M got the drop on them, that was pretty much it. And I get what you're saying because I was thinking that same thing too. You in your last year of football, bro. What is it about? What are you trying to accomplish
Yeah, bro.
that you can't accomplish at Grambling? Whatever the
I
case may
mean,
be, this transfer portal nonsense for this level of football in the spring. If this was the fall, okay, I understand. But this is the spring. This is your last shot, dude. You should be
yeah,
making it. You should be milking it for all it's worth.
man, it's
Uh,
just crazy because you figure they already had what, four quarterbacks, and in addition to that, just looking at this, they will meet each other again. I think it says November 3rd at Grambling. So they're going to play a game at Grambling this upcoming year, November 3rd against each other. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. And it's funny because when we had Stanley on, this is something that he schooled us on or whatever, talking about that. And he was mentioning like you're going to see a lot of weird moves like that. You may see some guys who are later on in their career do a jump. You'll definitely see a bunch of guys who's not getting much PT make that jump early knowing they can play next year, not have to wait. So it's just playing right into what we were talking about last time on the show. You know, I don't know why he
yeah,
did it or what's going on at Gremlin to make him be like, I'm gonna just move over here to Bethune Cookman. It's cool.
yeah.
That part I don't get.
I was thinking the same thing too. But
I'm curious though, man.
I am too. I am too. And
But
because this happened at Jackson State too. Their quarterback at the transfer portal.
that's true. He did,
So
and then
what's going on? Are they scared? Like is this the fear factor that we were wondering about?
maybe, and it just makes me wonder, like, okay, if you're willing to do this now, if you're like, okay, I'm gonna make this jump, make this move at this time frame, is there something else in the works that you see that this other school is about to do that nobody is prepared for or nobody knows about, right? Because the way that Jackson State, how they had their momentum in the first few games and what they were able to accomplish at that moment, they had a lot of guys transfer in too. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody really knew what they were about to do. They knew who the coach was, obviously, but the impact that they had, how they shook things up that first half of the season, was something that people didn't think was going to end up happening like that. And I feel like with Bethune Cookman, maybe there is some more of that. Maybe they have coach that we don't know about that they're trying to get down there because they're quiet. They're very quiet about this stuff. So all we know is about dude
Speaking
going there, and that's it.
speaking of coaches that are the people are trying to get coaches,
Hmm.
it was brought up earlier this week. Marshall Faulk may be a candidate for the job at Southern.
Haha,
Now,
yes. I like that.
now for those watching, for those that are gonna watch, Marshall Faulk is from Louisiana. Marshall Faulk is also a big component in SWAC football. He loves SWAC football. It's been
Mm,
noted.
mm,
This could be huge. I get it. I get it because Dion and other coaches from the SWAC and HBCUs have been in talks for FBS jobs. But just think about the impact that this is having now, where former NFL players are taking HBCU jobs. Eddie
it's
just took
growing,
the
man.
job at Eddie just took the job at Tennessee State. Dion took the
Hmm.
job over at Jackson State. Marshall's in the talk. This is just talks. This is just speculation at right now. He speculated to take the job at Southern or be in the talks for the job at Southern. Who's next?
I
Who's
wanted the same
next?
thing. I wanted the same thing because, this isn't the end. This is not
It's
the
not.
end of it. You see, it's happening, man. It's a movement. It's an entire movement. You know, it's definitely not happening. Here's one for you, and this is crazy sounding because I doubt it will happen. But let's think for a sec. Bethune Cookman is when where? Florida,
Yep.
Daytona Beach, right?
Daytona Beach because the semi-pro national championship is held at their stadium.
Okay. Now, how weird would that be if they were to recruit like a former, I don't know, Hurricane or something to coach
I knew
there?
that was coming. I knew that
I
was
just,
coming.
I'm
I
just
knew
throwing
it.
some nonsense out there. I have
You
to,
know
man.
what?
I have to do
You
it. I have
that's
to do it.
that's dude, that's not
Let's talk
nonsense.
about it. Let's
That's
talk
not
about it.
nonsense. It's not nonsense at all. It's not. You know why it's not nonsense?
Why is
Because
that?
I can see that very well happening. This ain't my I don't want this back. I can see that happening. And the reason I can see that happening is because that would shake so much shit up in HBCU football, it wouldn't even be funny.
Exactly. It would. And it would make more sense to me mentally why this dude just all of a sudden said, I'm about to jump. My last year, Graham, I'm about to just go to Bethune. Like, no
You
disrespect to
know what? You
Bethune
just put
Cookman, but you're a redshirt senior and
yeah,
you're the quarterback. You just gonna leave? Like, last year eligibility, you just gonna like, I'm going to Bethune. Why you didn't go there before? Why you went
right,
there before? You just all of a
right.
sudden now it was the time to go.
You
Now.
and you've been shining at Grambling up until you ran
Yeah.
into Jackson. Even in the Jackson State game, you shined. You shined. So
Right.
what's going on?
Right.
What the problem is?
Yeah, man. I saw that and it tickled me a little bit. When you sent me, I'm like, am I reading this right? This cat about to transfer? Okay. I don't know why, but whatever. And I'm sure we'll hear something later, and I hope it's
Yeah,
nothing related to like coaching staff or something like that. Because I hate when that happens and the players start getting all mouthy about it. The good news is he's not showing his ass or nothing and saying nothing crazy.
right.
He just pretty much tweeted like, "Hey, thanks for the
It
opportunity
was
to be a part
fun.
of Bethune Cookman. It was great.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's
See
in
you
my
later.
last year here, and that's it. So I'm like, okay, that
Yeah.
was full of class. I like that. You know what I'm saying? But the story will come out
Hey,
later. We'll be there for
it
it.
will.
We'll
It
be there
will.
for it.
It will. But it's crazy because this when we was kids, this shit would have never happened. This transfer
Oh,
portal
never.
never happened.
No, never,
All of the
ever.
talk about leaving at your last year in the spring to go to whoever, it never happened.
Unheard of.
Never.
Unheard of. So
Never.
unheard of. Man. But I wish the guy luck, man. I wish him
I
luck.
do too. I
I
want
hope
to
it
punch him
does
in his
something for
neck
the
for leaving.
program. Oh
I
yeah,
want to
that
punch him in his
was
neck for leaving, but good luck.
yeah.
Good
I
luck.
hope it do something for the program, man. We'll
Yeah,
see.
man.
We'll see.
Last bit of NCAA SWAC news.
Hmm.
The SWAC championship is tomorrow, or what is it? Yeah, tomorrow, May 1st, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow, May 1st, SWAC
First.
championship, Veterans Memorial Stadium. Alabama A&M, led by head coach Connell Maynard,
Hmm.
and Arkansas Pine Bluff, led by Cincinnati native head coach Doc Gamble.
Mm. Ooh. Ooh.
This,
Who wins that game?
yeah, that was my first question. My
Who
second
wins
question,
that
well, my
game?
not even questions. That's my first thought. My second
Hmm.
thought is I wonder what's this gonna do for the fall? And what I mean by that is now this is a thought and a question.
Hmm.
What I mean by that is if one of these two goes into the fall season as SWAC champion, how big is that target on their back? Because we already know traditionally who the targets are. Grambling, Southern. Now you got Jackson State thrown in the mix. If one of these two teams wins it, who has the bigger target?
If one of these two wins it, I would say Arkansas Pine Bluff, only because of the division that they're in. Because with them, they share it with Southern, they share it with Grambling, right? And then Prairie View is in the mix. They're kind of like in the middle. You know what I mean? That's going to
Yeah.
be one of those divisions to kind of like watch, I guess, in the SWAC. Because you figure on the other end, you got A&M and Jackson State share it, and of course Mississippi Valley State as well. But looking at the entire SWAC like collectively, the majority of the teams that we were looking at or talking about is on that end. And when you have someone like Marshall Faulk in consideration for the job there, right, that's going to put a little bit of a target on them because you got another former NFL player coming in to be a coach of one of these teams. You'll have him on one end, Dion on the opposite end, right? It would be dope to have them meet in a championship game. That'd be kind of cool,
Oh
right?
man.
Um,
ESPN better cover that shit.
and that's the difference, right? So I figure just because them being on the same side as Grambling and on the same side as Southern, who could potentially have fault, they'll put a bigger target on them. With A&M, if they were to win, of course, you got Dion coming back second season as head coach. I feel like that still creates a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a distraction really, but I feel like that does pull it away because people are still looking at Jackson State saying, okay, he went 3-3 in his first season. Let's see what he does second time around and who he's got and stuff like that and how he can
But
recruit.
this would be his first full season.
True.
Remember, this is
That's
this is
true.
an abbreviated season. So this would be his
Right.
first full season at
True.
Jackson State. And his kids that he recruited will be in by the summertime.
Very true. So that'll be interesting to see too as well. I guess bottom line is the reigning champ will always have that target because the reigning champ, you know what I mean? But I do feel like there's so many other factors now with the mix up that we've seen in the SWAC and just how teams have like shifted around in terms of wins and losses, stuff like that, and who they brought in to coach and whatnot. I think that plays a huge part too. So I felt like normally if there was no Dion, if there was potentially no Marshall Faulk coming in and Gremlin didn't go 0-4, I would normally say, okay, it's going to be whoever wins that game, right? But I think now because of all these different factors and Grambling looking to make it a comeback and all these other types of moves that we've seen in the off season, that switches it up a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna say like right now between those two, depending on who wins that, I still feel like Arkansas Pine Bluff will have that target. And this isn't something that I think I'm used to seeing them do really either. You know.
Yeah. You haven't seen it in a while. And for those watching and those that are going to be, thinking about watching this game, guess who's airing it? ESPN2
Mm,
is going to be airing this game. So at 1 o'clock p.m., the game kicks off. So this ain't
nice.
on Fox Sports Net. This ain't on the Bally's Sports Network. This is going to be on ESPN2. And here's the fall 2020 lineup for both divisions, SWAC East and West. In the East, Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M, Jackson State, and Mississippi Valley. In the West, Alcorn State, Pine Bluff, Grambling State, Prairie View, Southern, and Texas Southern. I just looked at these divisions. It's gonna be a dogfight, bro.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's
gonna
it's
be
very exciting.
somebody gonna be battle tested, and somebody gonna get beat the hell up all season.
It's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be awesome. Like you said, to have that first full season, it's like, oh, it's fall again. Guys are ready to go. Some guys might be a little,
Man,
iffy because of the recovery time, I guess you could say. But outside of that, they're gonna be
it's
hungry,
gonna
man.
be
They're gonna be
awesome.
happy to be back out there. So
Wait a
yeah, I look
minute,
forward to it.
wait a minute. Who they trading for? Okay, it's been
Another
brought to
trade
my
happened.
attention. Yeah, man, the Browns just trade not the Browns, but who is that? The Carolina Panthers just traded for a receiver,
What?
Clifford
Oh
Franklin.
Lord! Oh God! Man, I was like, wait, because they just traded to get, they just traded to move up in the third round, and here you go. I'm like,
I
hold on,
had to,
man.
man. Come on,
I was
man.
like,
That
wait,
was
huh?
funny. That
Oh,
was
that
funny.
ain't right. That ain't right,
Clifford, the ball ain't nothing but a one man code to Clifford Franklin. Clifford Franklin, the only one catching it, and he the only one coming down with it.
man. I love that movie, man. I
It
love that
is a
dang old
great
movie.
movie.
I'll watch that now.
Okay,
Oh man.
we got some intermediate news. I did tell you I had a surprise for you. So I was talking with a coach in the Senate, and he just happens to be Coach Wheeler of Collinwood High School, our alma mater.
Mm.
And I learned a lot of new shit about Collinwood. So I'm gonna step out on faith and ask you, what were our colors? What were
So
our
the colors
primary colors?
primary, I would say, well, I was told, well, royal blue and gray was the primary.
Okay,
So
that was what I was told too. What would you say if I were to tell you we had red in our colors once?
red.
And what if I told you I had proof that there was red in our colors at one point in time?
Red?
Yes. What would you
Like
what would
like
you say if
a
I Okay, here's the backstory. I was talking to Coach
oh
Wheeler the other day,
okay.
and he told me this a long time ago, around the 30s, 40s. Collinwood had red in our colors, in our uniform scheme. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna bring this to your attention. Traditional jersey. Traditional, I would say
Right.
this would be about 60s, 70s, maybe 80s, maybe early 80s, late 70s. Now, here's a jersey from before then. What do you see?
Oh wow, there is some red trim in there.
Yeah. And here's another one.
Oh my goodness. Man. Looking like the Patriots or something.
Right.
What is that?
So now this has me thinking, what did we miss in school and why didn't they tell us this?
Yeah, that's some key information, man. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like you just gonna remove that all together? Like like it was blue and white and red and gray. Like it was like four colors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We missed
that's
that.
different.
this is what we were talking about before we went on, and this is why
Hmm.
I'm wanting to push for that move. This is why, because uh, there's no coverage of this. There's no history written about this.
That's true. There isn't any at all.
There's nothing. There's not even footage of Senate teams playing each other on YouTube often. The only game I've been able to find that's a full game in the Senate was the I'm gonna say it was the Senate City Championship, but it had to be from like 88, 89. And it was
Hmm.
West Tech versus South. That was the only thing I've been able to find so far.
Wow.
But I wanted to bring that to you because I know as Collinwood alumni, I feel lied to. I feel deceived, bamboozled, if you will. Like, how did we not know this?
Yeah, this is crazy, man.
Now I'm gonna throw that last one up for you again because that one was the one that shocked the shit out of me.
That's nuts, though. That is nuts. That is so. That is wow.
And I've been told there's a group that still has some history of Collinwood about this. It was an actual. Did you know we had an actual train, like a
That I
legit
knew.
locomotive? Okay, so you knew
That
that,
part knew. Hmm.
but you didn't know about the jerseys having red in them.
No idea. No idea.
Man, Nick Bolton has been picked up by the Chiefs out of Missouri, inside linebacker. Ooh, they could use some help because they had trouble stopping the run.
Man, I was sitting here thinking about shoot that time we had back then, man, just playing and stuff. And looking up now, I'm like, oh, this would have been the 20th year since I completed my first season
Man, you
playing
old.
football there. Yeah, I'm thinking back like, wait, 20 years since the first season was completed. Like I would have been right now trying to get ready for the upcoming year, doing like, track and all that other stuff. Um, but just thinking
Hmm.
back about that and hearing about like around this time frame, hearing that we were going to get, Coach Shorts and him coming in
Man,
or whatever, working with us and stuff. And it made me look up some information because I didn't know this. I didn't know that Cecil um, is now going to be doing some high school coaching as well,
where at?
starting out. It says Second Baptist High School.
That's got to be out in Houston
It's down in
area.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
heard
he
of
said
them.
he got a call from the head coach there, and he gave him an opportunity, and he's kind of nervous about it, obviously, but the fact that he'd been around his dad all them years or whatever and saw him do it, I think that's something that he's going to try out. So,
Well,
best of luck to
shout
him,
out.
man.
Yeah, shout
Shout out
out
to
to him.
Cecil, man, for sure. It'd be nice to see
All
what he
right.
does with that.
Yeah, I'm excited and happy for him.
Hmm.
All right. We're gonna close it out, but we have a big announcement on our closing out of this. Due to foreseen circumstances, we got an offer we couldn't refuse, and we decided to sell out to the man. So we will be working from here on out. We will be working under the 216 Sports Network. I know everybody's kind of disappointed. Just gonna be like, oh, y'all ain't have to sell out. But here's the thing. We are the 216 Sports Network. Me and Ronnie have decided to put
Hey,
together our very intelligent and inquisitive minds, and we started a sports network dedicated to covering the uncovered and discovering the undiscovered. Now, before you ask, what that means is we will be giving coverages to areas of sports that nobody else has been paying attention to that they should,
hmm
meaning the inner city. Sometimes the peewees, if we can get these coaches' heads together, and colleges that nobody hears about. So this is big. I'm Ronnie, I couldn't hold myself, couldn't contain myself, but you know, the venture and the struggle that we had to go through just to get this thing going. I'm happy to where we are right now. I'm glad to share this ride with you. And things are looking up. So slowly, you guys will be seeing changes to our fan page. You will be seeing changes to our logos, everything. We're going to make a complete overhaul, and things are going to be run a lot differently. And you know, we thank you guys for sticking with us, continuing to follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. All of that shit means so much that y'all will never understand. And we appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Smooth's heart's bigger than mine, literally. So, you know, we still appreciate it either way.
Yeah, man, it's been a really great journey, and we're looking forward to the next step. You know what I mean? Like, we appreciate you guys for following.
Big.
It's been good. Yeah.
The next step, we got a lot of news coming. We got a lot of things we are working on, and it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing, and we appreciate each and every last one of y'all for sticking with us. So, you know, when you see changes to the fan page, do not, what's going on. It's all us. It's going to stay in the family. And just know that this was created to shine some light and bring about unbiased opinions, news that matters, some news that don't matter, and just give people a chance to see that there is more out there than just the normal, you know, and it's just it needed to be done. It needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And one last draft update at the 60th spot. The Saints have picked up Pete Werner from Ohio State. So a lot of Ohio State kids are going.
That's awesome, man. This is one of those drafts where like it made perfect sense, man. Like it usually makes sense, but this year, like it felt like that they had something special going on, man, these last few years. And it's just these guys' time to do their thing.
And they have. But they have.
Yeah, and I feel like this is truly a situation where for the first time in a long time, I feel like Ohio State is going to shine at all positions that have been drafted. Because the thing is, like, to have someone like Justin Fields and for him to get picked up, he's definitely going to do his thing. Of course, for a long time, a lot of those QBs didn't phase or didn't like adjust really to the NFL like you would have thought.
And I think that's a crock of shit. I honestly think that's a crock of shit because let's just go back to last season. We won't even go back that far. Let's just go back to last season. Haskins was playing very well at one point. He even had the team 3 games up in the division. And then he got benched. He got benched for Alex Smith because Alex Smith was coming back and they wanted to see what they had before either they got rid of him or he retired. And if you want to go back even further than that, Troy Smith wasn't bad in Baltimore. He wasn't. The problem was they felt he wasn't tall enough. It's just a matter of what these coaches believe as opposed to the talent that they have. I don't believe for a second that I'm not going to say this to be malicious, but I'm not going to sit here and believe for 1 second Carson Wentz has panned out any better than any of the Ohio State quarterbacks in the past.
Oh, Carson Wentz? Oh, God, no.
So if you're going to knock Ohio State quarterbacks, you might as well knock Carson Wentz. He went to North Dakota State, won national championships, went undefeated, or, one loss every year. He gets to the NFL, he gets beat the fuck up. What's the difference? How you the man on your team, but then you get hurt and your backup wins the Super Bowl for you. Your only ring came from your backup.
Man, that's the craziest thing ever. That boy was balling too.
Like, do you see my plight with that though? Like, it's like you can't knock these Ohio State quarterbacks and you don't give them a real shot. Like Haskins was not doing bad. Troy was not doing bad. They just felt he wasn't tall enough to play in the AFC North. But yet he was still productive when he was playing. I don't
What
know.
do you think would have happened if they would have given more of a shot to Braxton Miller or JT Barrett at that position?
I think, truth be told, if you're asking me to be honest, and you're asking me to be honest, correct?
Yep.
Barrett should still be in Pittsburgh. Barrett should get the job. If Ben retires after this season, Barrett should have got the job over Rudolph. I think if Barrett is there still last season, Rudolph don't get bust upside his head with his own fucking helmet because he's on the bench. I do not believe Mason Rudolph is better quarterback than JT Barrett. He should still be in Pittsburgh. That's my personal opinion. And who was the other one you said? Braxton?
Yep.
That's kind of a hard one to decide because what we saw Braxton, it wasn't bad. It was more inconsistent. One game he'll have a great game passing, the next game you saw it. He'll have a great game running the ball. He was that true dual threat quarterback for Ohio State. Like how we thought Stanley was back in the
Hmm.
day, Braxton exceeded that. And I think I don't think that would have translated well because as we've seen and as we've stated in the NFL, everybody's just as fast as you. So what happens when at the time, what happens when you meet guys like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Erlacher, Luke Keeley? What happens when you meet these guys and they corner you?
Man,
What
Patrick
happens when you
Willis.
meet what happens when you meet a Clowney in his prime or a JJ Watt in his prime? Or dare I say, if he's still playing, Miles Garrett by the time Miles Garrett gets here. What happens when you see these guys and at the time, you don't have a real running back to help you out or take that beating for you as a quarterback?
It's crazy.
Yeah, but
Crazy.
I feel that stigma is unfair, and I'm confident Fields is going to change that. I'm very confident, especially in Chicago.
Oh, I am too. I mean, that dude got it, man. That dude got it. I think he'll translate fine. I feel like he's the kind of player where, honestly, I don't look at him and say, okay, he fits into this style versus this style or whatever. I feel like he's a true dual threat that prefers to throw. And he's also someone that can adjust to whatever it is you put him in.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he's a very coachable player and a very smart player.
yeah.
I
And he
think
didn't
that
go
was
to
the difference.
he didn't go to
I think that's
Northwestern to
it.
prove it.
Yeah, but I think that's been the biggest difference, though. And the thing that
Yeah.
sucks is the success that Urban Meyer had at OSU. His QBs took a beating, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not really a knock to the actual QB themselves. They were put through so much in the program, and then they get to the NFL, their body is different. It's like if I'm getting banged up like that before I even get a chance to do my thing at the next level, I'm already 4 or 5 years older than anybody
Than what
else
I
in my
was.
position.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so it's not a talent thing. I'm not saying that OSU quarterbacks don't have talent. I'm saying that
They
it's
built
so
differently.
jacked up. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like it's just a different style. It's a different form of play that they had to deal with before they came into the league, and I feel like they were put at a disadvantage. Just like you said, that they don't see their talent, or they look at them and go, "Okay, what am I doing with this guy? I already got this main dude." Because the problem with someone like a JT Barrett, you gotta take that position away from Ben. And then when he was in New Orleans, you gotta take that position away from Breeze. That's not happening. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Two guys
They
like
put too
that,
much
you ain't getting
yeah, they
a
put too much
job.
stock in it. Yeah, it's too much money involved
Yeah,
in
it's
it.
just too much, right? I mean,
And like
yeah,
I said,
and that's
there's no fucking way Mason Rudolph was a better quarterback than JT
oh
Barrett.
no, God no. We saw that. We saw it the last 2 years. I mean, that dude.
We saw it in college, man. We saw it in college. I keep saying
Well,
that,
that
but people
too.
don't believe me. You know
But
what you're getting if you pay attention to him in college. Mason Rudolph don't got it. And if the Steelers stick with him after Ben leaves, it's going to be a good 5 years before we can even step foot back into the playoff picture.
yeah, it's like watching Kyle Bowler all over again. Just saying.
Matt, I
Hey, think
forgot all
about it
about
though.
him. I
Think
forgot
about it
all about
though.
that dude, man. Joey Harrington.
Every- Everybody was all on that dude's nuts, man. When he was in college coming out of Cal, they was like, "Oh, this the man, this the man." And oh, okay, all right, that's
He
cool.
stunk up the joint.
Stunk up every team he was with, man.
He was
You know what I'm
actually on the
saying?
list. He was actually on this list
God,
of. I read this list the other night, and I tried to send it to you. I think I did. I don't remember, but it was a list of every team's worst drafted quarterback,
mm, 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 mm.
and he was on that list for Baltimore.
Man.
So,
Speaking of which, I laughed when they talked about Cleveland because they were saying Baker's the first drafted QB that they had since like I don't know Kozar or something that actually has started 3 consecutive seasons since the return.
oh
Because the
man,
thing is, like,
oh
no
man,
one's
damn,
lasted more than a season or two, if that, or a season and a half, as starting
that's
quarterback
crazy.
that got
That's
drafted by
crazy.
them. He the
That's
only
crazy.
one. This is his 4th year. You know what I'm
But you
saying?
But it wasn't
And he's
those. It wasn't
still
all of those
starting.
quarterbacks. It wasn't all of them quarterbacks' faults, man. It
No, not
wasn't.
all of them. Not all of them. Because
It
think
wasn't.
about it. Some of those
Tim
guys are like,
Couch.
all right. Oh, he ain't
Tim
got no
Couch.
line.
He got beat the fuck up. That's what I'm saying. Tim
He
Couch
got
got
beat
beat the
down.
fuck
He was
up.
not a bad QB, right? Him and then
Uh
they got what's his name old. Remember they brought
oh, Brandon
Jeff
Weeden.
Garcia.
Oh, Jeff Garcia. Yeah, Jeff
He
Garcia.
was
He was out.
old.
He was done.
Yeah, he was
He should have
done.
stayed in San Fran. He should have stayed in San
Yeah,
Fran.
he was over with. Oh, Brandon Wheaton. Oh my
Brandon
gosh.
Brandon
You gonna
Weeden was
draft?
terrible. He was terrible in college. You pick him up
Oh,
after he'd have paid 20 years at baseball.
right. You
Uh,
gonna spend the first round pick on a 29-year-old? Oh my gosh.
Brian Hoyer, Brian
Or
Hoyer, I think he did.
that?
I'm probably the only one that says this and feels this way, but he never got a fair shot here. He never got a fair
Oh,
shot
he did.
because
He was the best one they picked up in recent
at that
years.
time, yeah,
At
at
that
that time
time.
he was the best. He was their best quarterback, and they kept playing this man to the left.
Yeah,
That
it
is not
was.
his fault.
Yeah, that was
He was
terrible, bro.
Derek Anderson.
Oh my gosh. Now see, he lucked out. He lucked out.
Didn't he? Yeah, he
He lucked
did.
out. He had talent around him. He got lucky. He had talent around him. You had a decent running back. You had Braylon Edwards. You had Kellen Winslow. You know what I'm saying? That line
A
was stout.
psychotic Kellen Winslow.
And you had a really fresh Joe Thomas on your blind side. He
Right.
ain't had to worry about
Right.
nothing. Okay, Josh
Right.
Cribbs. He had
Yeah.
talent, bro. They saved Derek Anderson. Derek Anderson was lucky. That's the most lucky quarterback in Cleveland since the return, bro.
Oh my
Name me another
god.
quarterback in Cleveland that got as lucky as he did. Who
Nobody.
else can you think of? Because
I
he had
can't.
talent around him.
I
They had
can't.
something
I'm
going,
not gonna sit there and lie. I can't
and
think of
that's
anybody else.
what almost made me, you know, have to take myself out of it because that's when they had like like Rod Shazinski came up in here. They only gave him a shot for a year. I didn't agree with that. He had something going. I'm like, y'all stupid, man. This is dumb. These owners are stupid. Because when y'all actually had something, Cass was still letting them. Man, I don't know what happened or what changed or what made him be like, huh, we're actually going to get it right this time. Maybe he listened to his wife because she was not in football operations before. Let's think back about that. When the Hasmans first came over from Pittsburgh, his wife was not in the forefront like that. She was not. As soon as she come on
You
board,
gotta understand too. You
hey,
gotta understand. There's a
I'm just
difference
saying.
between Browns ownership at that time and Steelers ownership at that time. And the Browns ownership, it was the learners and and everybody making that decision. Just like it was in Pittsburgh, the only difference is Haslam was part of the ownership group, but all of the football decisions came from the Rooneys. There's the
And when
big
you say
difference.
and when you say Lerner, you're talking about Al Lerner before Randy, right?
Right.
Because
But
that's a
both of
huge
those,
difference.
but those decisions both came from a person with the last name of Lerner. Now with and dumb front office people, just throw that out there too. But with the Roonies, it was an ownership group, and what people don't realize is the football decisions, the drafting, the free agent picks, whatever signing needed to be signed or needed to be made, that came from a Rooney who knew football. I don't think, and I'm quite sure up until they sold the team to the Hasms, I'm quite sure not a lot of people in that front office knew about football.
Oh no, absolutely not. I mean, Al Lerner was pretty smart about it. When he passed away, his son was a
Yeah,
soccer dude. He was
yeah.
a soccer
That was
guy.
I was
He
I
didn't
was
know what
just
he was
about to
doing.
say. I was just
He
about
had
to
no
say,
idea what
yeah.
he was doing.
Once Al Lerner passed away, the team went to shit. Really,
Oh yeah, because you
went to
could
shit.
tell it's up and coming. Like you had to struggle right in the first couple seasons. After that, within the first 3 years, you're a playoff team. They were
Yeah,
doing something, right? And then as soon
Butch
as Al Lerner
Davis,
passed away, oh my God,
Butch Davis,
it was.
Butch Davis, and they always talk like college coaches can't make it in the NFL. Butch
I
Davis
liked
is
Butch
a prime
Davis.
example. Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
liked
saying.
him.
Butch made the impossible happen. He took a job nobody wanted and took the team to the playoffs in his second year, first year, second year.
hmm I
So
will
it's
say
like,
he's the only reason that what's his name was there, Greg Little. God,
yeah,
that was a
yeah.
UNC guy. So,
All Quincy Morgan had to do was get to the fucking first down.
oh man, here we go. Not Quincy Morgan. Oh, gut punching me. Gut punching
I'm
me,
sorry,
man.
man. I'm sorry.
Yo, hey, I will
I've
say
been
this
getting
one last thing.
I've been getting gut punched all season, bro.
Yeah, you just feeling what I've been feeling for the last 20. That's my only touche I got for that. Hey man, but real talk. I will leave you with this one. So it reminded me of a game that happened back in '04. This was that year we were talking about like with Jeff Garcia. And it was Quincy Morgan was out there, like you said. Um, both Andre Davises, the
I
linebacker and
know
the
this
wide
story about to
receiver.
be bad.
And then it was an overtime game. Um, it was actually one that was at Cleveland. It was the last Browns game I got a chance to go to, man. It was actually pretty hype. Because McNabb was in town, you
Oh, that
know.
was the Eagles game. Okay.
Yeah, that was the year the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, actually.
Yeah.
Um, and it
And the
was a very
Browns could have
exciting
won that
game.
game. I
Yeah,
remember that game.
because
The Browns
because
could have won
T.O.
that game.
was tearing them up, man, but they kept coming right back. That was an exciting game, man. It was
That's
awesome.
it.
Oh, it was awesome, bro. But like seeing that, and that's when I first saw people like, burning the jerseys and had the big names crossed off on the side or whatever of the quarterbacks and all that nonsense. And I was in Muni Lot watching all this stuff go down, man. I'm like, wow, this is hilarious, bro. But
This
I
is
will
funny.
say it's the nicest tailgaters ever, man. Like if you're
I can
somebody who
believe that.
show up and let's say you show up with a pack of brats and like a 6 pack of beer, you will leave full off of so much other food and drinks or whatever. Bone lady might come up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much that goes down, man. I had the time of my life. I had the time of my life.
I can
I probably
believe
had
that.
more fun tailgating than at the game. And the game was exciting,
I can believe that.
you
I can
know?
believe
You ain't
that.
got no food? Where your food at? Oh man, come get some of these crab legs or whatever, or get this steak and this and that. He was just it was like outreach. It felt like it was like, here, man, you hungry. Um, my wife over here at the RV got a plate of some stuff, whatever, and you go over there, man. They got the whole spread, At the same time, while they got it, they die hard, so they had like, the whole RV painted, whatever, with the logos and all the colors, whatever, and like just highlight reels from like the '60s all the way up or whatever. It was crazy.
Man.
I thought I was like the Hall of Fame or something, man. It was great, man. It was great.
I
And it's
believe
cool
it. I'm gonna
because
have to.
you can be the opposite team up in there too, man. They'll look at
I
you
was the
funny, but they'll
opposite.
still give
I
you.
was
They'll
the
crack a beer
opposite.
with you though.
I was the
They'll crack
opposite
a beer
team
with you.
when I went to the Ravens game, the Browns Ravens game when they went to Ophir.
Mm-hmm.
I was the opposite team. They hate. I'm not gonna say they hate the Steelers more because it's clear that they hate the Ravens more than they hate the
Oh, they
Steelers.
really
Like
hate the Raven. Oh yes, yes sir.
I was
It's
like,
funny now, man.
man. I
I
was
mean,
like,
they'll look
man,
at you
this is
crazy,
unbelievable.
but they'll crack a beer with you and everything, man. They're like, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't agree with what you got on, but
Don't crack a
you
beer with me
here,
if you feel that way. Because I
you
heard
here.
stories at the old stadium. I used to hear stories about the
Oh
old
well,
stadium, how they pour beer on you, they
oh
damn
yeah,
near
that's the
jump
old
you.
fans. That's the
I'm
old
like,
fans from Muni Stadium. Yeah,
I'm like,
that's a different
damn, that's how
generation.
y'all feel?
Yeah, that's a different generation, man. That's like our grandfathers or something generation,
Yeah,
man. They crazy.
yeah,
They took that to heart, real heart.
clearly, clearly,
Mm-mm,
clearly.
mm-mm.
All right, folks, that's gonna do it for this week's episode. We'd like to thank you guys. We unfortunately couldn't have Achilles Smith on. Um, like I said, stick around with us because as you will see over the course of the next few weeks, fan page will be changing. We'll have some more big news that we'll be putting up on the fan page. We got a lot of stuff brewing. Um, we are blessed that this network will be kicking off with us, and we hope you guys will enjoy the content that we bring to you guys from here on out. We hope that you've enjoyed it so far. And if you have, just spread the word. That's all we can ask you to do, and just keep tuning in. Well, have you
Definitely,
got
man. We
anything?
appreciate. Yeah, just want to say, like, once again, we definitely appreciate y'all for following. It's been a long journey. It's been a great one. A lot of different obstacles to overcome, things like that. A lot of great conversation, even better guests that have come on and blessed our show with various types of things they've been involved with, information about even the sports that we love and the ones we don't know much about. It's been a blessing to have each and every one of them. We definitely appreciate y'all, the fans that do follow and check us out, but definitely more to come, man. I'm excited about it, and I hope that you guys are too.
All right. 4th and 15. I'm Mel. That's Smooth. Peace.
Peace.